Hello and welcome to another week here at the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge Diaries, BCBC Diaries. I'm your host, Peter Thomas Fornital, coming to you from the Little House on the East Side. And we kick off this show, as we've decided to kick off these shows going forward, with giving shout-outs to the most recent Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge qualifiers. We had a couple on horseplayers.com over the weekend, starting with Michael Acciatulo, who got a seat. Joseph Perella. It was a good weekend to be Italian-American over on horseplayers.com, apparently. And then also Rick Vasquez getting his $5,000 partial entry. Can win another one of those to get the full seat. Can pay up to get to $10,000 as well to get the seat. But the biggest story in the contest world happened out at Del Mar over the weekend, where we had 7 BCBC qualifiers, starting with a run from a former BCBC champion, Bob Trainer, getting the job done. Frank Mustari, that last name should sound familiar if you're a regular BCBC Diaries viewer. We're going to actually have him on the show in just a little bit. He punches his ticket. We had Tom Arndt, who's also familiar to contest players and the In the Money media world. He was at the final table of the World Horse Players Tour, video of which you can find elsewhere on YouTube. Carl Broberg, the very successful trainer, got a seat. Tyler Sprague, a name I've seen on many leaderboards. Nissan Gabe, another former champion, getting the job done, punching that ticket. And Florine Sima, who I've had the pleasure of meeting many times in the Eddie Logan suite out at Santa Anita. Terrific group of contest players getting the job done this weekend. Very exciting stuff. We've already got one of our BCBC Diaries 3 with a ticket punched to the BCBC. We bring in another now whose process is still going on, but I know a lot of people from this show, a lot of people's takeaway is, I'm really rooting for Jackson. We bring him in here now. He's Jackson Muniz. Jackson, how are things, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Happy to be here.
What's been going on out at Del Mar? I got to see you opening weekend. You got another one in the books with some great stakes racing action, winning your in action for the Bing Crosby this weekend. Great performance from Chosen Vron. Were you able to be there in person to see that?
I was there Saturday, and he's an awesome horse. He's won 14 of 15 now, and that was by far his most impressive performance. I mean, that was the best field he's faced in a while, and I don't think he got whipped once, and he just blew the doors off those guys, and closed the game. Sugar beat Skelly pretty easily a while back, and he's got to be the favorite for the sprint, I think, and it's just exciting to have a horse like that out in California right now.
You mentioned that about 14 of 15 for Chosen Vron, the disappointment coming in the BC Sprint. But as I made the point elsewhere on the In the Money Media YouTube channel to Jonathan Kinchin, a little bit different this year with it being a home game for this horse who obviously loves Southern California and looks to have taken a step forward. I'm envious that you got to see that in person.
It was really cool, really cool.
What have you been up to contest-wise? Any close calls or anything to report?
Nothing too crazy. I've just been playing the Horsepower Happy Hour contests each week, and I stole this idea from, I think it was Dave Nichols, who was picking the same 3 horses on all 3 entries, hoping to just get in the top, either win it or get in the top 5 and accumulate a bunch of tour points all at once. Just have one good week and try to just win the regular season tour right then and there. Hasn't worked out for me yet, but that's been the plan the last couple of weeks. So as long as the opinions keep lining up to do that, that's what the plan is for the foreseeable future.
We've got some great qualifying opportunities coming up. August 10th, 4-Star Dave Challenge from NYRA. August 11th, $600 bankroll, the LRF Cares Charity Challenge out at Del Mar. We can show the graphic up on screen about those 2 events. I would assume Del Mar being your home track, the Bryan being, very reasonable. I would assume the LRF Cares one is on your radar for maybe your next big swing beyond the Horse Players Happy Hour contest.
Yeah, that's the plan. Try to stay with the home track, like you mentioned, and just more familiar with the horses, connections, all that. But I do want to try to maybe play one of the feeders for the NYRA one. I know they're offering a BCBC seat on the 10th, which I believe is 4-Star Dave Day. And so that's definitely take a couple cracks at that. Horse Tourneys also has the feeders for the LRF one. So I am planning to buy in for one, but if I can try to get double barreled, we're going to try to do that too. And double our chances a little bit. We'll see. But that's the plan now.
Speaking of good opportunities for contest play, not to lead directly to a BCBC seat, but maybe a little bit of a bankroll builder on Sunday's contest jockey with free qualifiers into the Naira Bets Saturday games. That's a leaderboard I will be looking for your name on as the summer goes forward, and we just may have a free contest jockey feeder for the Del Mar Cares contest. Hasn't all been finalized yet, but I would highly recommend you, keeping your eye on that site, Jackson, for some more ways to win. We're going to get you this BCBC seat.
Definitely, that's the plan. I love the contest jockey format, the way they had set up. It's win only, which I like. I prefer a little bit more. Got to be a lot more precise with what you do it, and it's almost like a little poker tournament where the minimums are going up every so few races, and it's a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of those contests. Definitely going to be involved in those.
That's the idea. The blinds go up. You can go all in at any time. Going to be fun to see. Hopefully we can produce some BCBC players from there. All right, Jackson, we'll leave you to it. We've got a guest waiting in the green room, but appreciate you checking in with us, and we look forward to chatting with you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Pete.
Next up, we do not have one of our regular BCBC Diaries players, but we have the sire of one of them coming to us off an impressive finish at the on-site only Del Mar Handicapping Challenge. He is Frank Mustari. Frank, what's going on, my man?
Hey, Pete, how you doing? Everything's good here in beautiful Del Mar, San Diego area, and just having another phenomenal time at Del Mar for the weekend.
We will get to the results of the contest and how you did it in a minute, but I enjoyed the comment you made off air. You told me you were staying up by Torrey Pines. I was curious if that meant you got to play some golf this weekend, because I know Justin is a scratch golfer. I assume you're pretty good yourself.
No, I'm no good, but I always have intentions of playing golf here, and I always have intentions of, going to the beach, and I never do either, so the handicapping kind of gets in the way, and I have good intentions, but one of these days I'll do both of those.
Let's talk about the handicapping. What was it that vaulted you into? Was it second place overall and a Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge seat on Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, when I got off the plane, I do both days as far in advance as I can, because I need to know, is the last race on Sunday my best race of the day? So I knew when I got off the plane. I talked to my good friend Jim Bennis, and I said, I don't really like much. I said, I like one race on Saturday, and I like one race on Sunday, and between the two, it's probably going to be a 36-hour wait or whatever that's going to be. And that's pretty much how it worked out. I made a bet early on Saturday. I bet half of my $4,000 bankroll on the third race on Saturday. On the other entry, I never had any intentions of betting other than a few show bets to keep one entry full live for Sunday. And then on my first entry, I had $2,000 left, and I got a little bit anxious, and I played a race for some value. I lost, so that one was broke. And then on Sunday, I was very patient. I made a little exacta to get a mandatory out of the way in the first race, a 5-horse stupid field. I boxed the 2 chalks. I profited $1,300 out of the race, and I knew at that point I had 5,000, which I knew the horse that I was going to bet in the 10th race would most likely get me in major contention if I made an all-in win bet. I made a double leading up to that horse off of Easter, who didn't run very well in the previous race. So I had 4,100 left, and I bet 3,500 to win. And I made $100 tri-key off the 7-horse in the 10th race, who won at 7-1. And I wish right now I would have bet the other 600 to win, because that might have changed the outcome for me and got me a win. But
it was
you never
tight
know
at
how
the
it's going to play.
We have the ability on this show, Frank, to show some replays. So why don't we roll the tape of that race? Take me through what you were thinking in the stretch with this 7-runner hanging in there, making a big move for you.
Yeah, so at the start of the race, I sat with Dylan Donnelly, a great friend of mine, for the whole weekend. We went to dinner on Saturday night and with Tyler Frostill from ExpressBet. And me and Dylan exchanged some of the things that we like. And we're pretty, we don't jump on the other guy's horse necessarily when we discuss who we like. And I told him Sunday morning or Saturday night, that was the race and what horse I was waiting for. And he was betting a different horse in the race. But when they broke out of the gate and my guy just dropped right over to the rail about 100 yards out of the gate and sat there chasing in a nice, perfect inside position, sitting on the rail, I was pretty happy at that point. And then when the horse made the move turning for home, I was kind of looking to see if any of my closers were coming to hit the big trifecta that would have made me a winner. I knew automatically because I had some big prices behind them, and if I would have hit that try, I would have no one would have caught me. But I was happy. I was happy with the $3,500 win bet.
Neither Dalton was the horse that got it done for you. Have to say, though, not much shame in losing to a former BCBC champion in Robert Trainer. Is he a guy that you know personally? You've been in the same room about 50 times.
Yesterday was the first time I met him after the results were. I never saw him before. I know he's a successful player, not afraid to bet his money. And I looked in yesterday at the end to see what he bet on both of his entries, and I was kind of amazed that he's definitely not afraid. He's not shy as far as betting what he bet. I think he had 2 entries live, and he went all in on both, and he made some. If he was right, which he was on his win bet, but if he was right on his try, he would have really lit up the board because he had some huge trifecta keys going there too. So. Yeah, seemed like a very good guy. I think he, California based from what I hear. And, congratulations to him. It's my second year in a row that I finished second here now. So I got to get over the top here.
Definitely. You're in position to do so. Is there something a little special in this day where everything is hybrid and there's so much online of an in-person contest where everybody's out there in more or less the same room? Does that add anything to the experience for you?
Yeah, definitely. And especially places like Del Mar, a beautiful track, a beautiful town, right on the ocean. I really enjoy the in person. I know it's hard for people to travel across the country. I get all that, but for Del Mar and for Keeneland, stuff like that, I wish that they would make it, definitely all on track. I think it really adds to it, and I think it brings back the fans to the game more. I think that might change things if we could pull that off. And it seems like Del Mar, especially, they keep on doing it the old-fashioned way, making us come out here, and they had 128 entries for a $6,000 buy-in. So, maybe we get back to that more at some of these tracks and not do the hybrid.
Boosting the on track handle and those golden dollars that the track gets when they are bet in person for sure. Last question for you. I want a Breeders' Cup memory. I mentioned we have the ability to run some tape. Feel free to go back as far as you want. Be as recent as you want. When I ask you to think of one Breeders' Cup race that really stands out in your mind, where does your mind go?
The one that's exciting for me wasn't even involved in me. It was more my son, who's, as you well know, has been killing it the last bunch of years here in tournaments. And when he had the speed horse that beat Golden Pal that year, Caravel, when he had Caravel, and people don't really probably believe the story, but he says it, and he told me before the race, he said, Golden Pal just isn't breaking good. And you know what? If Caravel gets loose here, no one's going to chase, and we're getting crazy value on this thing, he said. So I'm making a double off Caravel, and he was 100% right, and it was a hard thing to come up with, but that was my other Breeders' Cup moment, and I'm hoping soon here that I have a top Breeders' Cup moment for you, maybe this year, at the end of this year or next year, if I can capture a BCBC.
Frank Mustari, he's part of our extended BCBC Diaries family. We'll be following you throughout the year, too. Look forward to seeing you out there and really appreciate your time today.
Great. Thanks for having me, Pete.
We'll be back with more BCBC Diaries soon, and I'll see you on the leaderboard.